What did a person you were head over heels in love with do that made you lose interest in them immediately? Once we were hanging out with friends in a bar, and he stole tips left by people on the bar counter. Then he offered to buy me food with that money. No, thank you. The bartender is here. I'm sure people like that will burn in hell. Besides, in a bar with bouncers, be prepared to blush when you're thrown out and asked never to return. I never understood such people. Hey, this guy brought us our drinks. Let me steal his tips. This will impress my girlfriend. She played hard to get with me. No, thank you. If you ignore me for days and then get mad when I don't respond within 5 seconds, that's not my problem. She said she would no longer flog her daughter because flogging had ceased to satisfy her.
What the fuck?
She told me she plans to live off rich men in the future, like her mother. When I laughed, she didn't understand why I was laughing. She got so drunk at a party that she pooped herself. The smell influenced my decision. A guy fell in love with me who was a real Bradley Cooper doppelganger. He was funny, smart, and educated, but I saw him pee himself twice while drunk. He made fun of my smile, that and making fun of someone else's laughter. Those are two of the dumbest things in the world. It makes no sense except to make someone feel self-conscious every time they enjoy something. He lectured me for 5 minutes on when it's acceptable to cheat. I don't think it makes sense, but I'm still curious about the conditions. If your family is threatened, if it will stop a nuclear war, if it's your shared fetish, then it's not cheating anymore. If it will save your life from some deadly disease. Like that. If for some reason your cheating can save the world from a nuclear war, do it without hesitation. Kim Jong-un joined the conversation. She asked me to help set her up with my best friend because she was in love with him. To give you an idea, he's 193 centimeters tall, while I'm 152. Once we were at his place. When I was about to leave, he jokingly blocked the door. I asked him to let me through, and when he didn't, I said I was uncomfortable. He replied that I was a crazy bitch. That was the end for me. Sounds terrible. I'm sorry. He told me that at some wedding he got annoyed with a boring family, so he spiked their drinks with some illegal substances. She called a really beautiful girl ugly behind her back. If girls speak ill of someone behind their back, I can assume they do the same about me. That's a significant reason for me to think twice. She generalized everyone. She treated everyone like crap without realizing it herself. Is he playing video games? Wow. When is he moving out from his mommies? Look at how much makeup she's wearing. Can you imagine what she's hiding under it? Such a vile person. It completely turned me off. She called me a sexist for pointing out that she was using a chainsaw incorrectly and dangerously. Sure, many guys yell at women when they use tools, but damn, she was so close to losing a hand or something worse. Updated. In her defense, I'll say that she previously had a boyfriend who was constantly eager to help her, even when she was perfectly capable of doing everything herself. And probably, this really got on her nerves. Definitely, we often treat women engaged in construction-related activities with sexism. But what really annoyed me was her disregard for personal safety. I had a harmless crush on a married friend. I never mentioned it or gave any signals. I was once a rejected wife, so I kept my distance and didn't befriend him on Facebook. As soon as he found out I had split up with my love, he messaged me privately. He was still married. I didn't respond. They are now divorced. His ex-wife is a very good person and deserves better. He was very smart, tidy, and kind. He knew how to communicate with waiters. He spoke to everyone very formally but with a sense of humor. We had a lot in common. The perfect man. The date was a 10 out of 10. But when he drove me home, we stopped at a traffic light. He pointed to a homeless person crossing the road and said, "I'm ready to stop my car for anyone, except a homeless person. Where is he in such a hurry to? He has nowhere to go." I thought, okay, that's a bit weird. Then he added, "It would be fun to run him over." I forgot about him forever after he dropped me off at home. We were driving in the car, and she threw a Starbucks cup out the window. That's terrible. People who litter should be turned into trees. I accidentally ran into my old love. He said he was into dogfighting. It was already clear that the flame of our love had long since gone out. At least that's what he thought. But after that response, I immediately lost any intention of trying to restore our relationship. I saw this shit in the Philippines. Anyway, a dog is chained in the middle of a cage and some other animal, a cat or something, is thrown in. The dog is trained to tear the victim apart. They bet on how long it takes the dog to kill the victim. He said women are only good for sex for men, and they can't be as smart. Then he started offering sex. Updated. Many are asking what happened next. I asked him how much sex he has. A lot. Well, then go ask another girl because I won't have sex with you. We were on a date. He begged me for 2.5 hours. I'm not exaggerating. Trying to convince me that sex with him would be the most unforgettable experience in my life. I listened to him for those 2 hours, then even pretended to be interested. But in the end, I said, I'd rather die a virgin. He was so offended, and they can't be as smart. Then he started offering sex. Dude, I'm smart enough to never have sex with you. So, I went on a date with one guy. He was nice, I liked him, and everything was going well. But then the conversation turned to what we do in life. I wrote erotic stories and lived off them. I openly told him about it. I didn't make it the focal point of my self-description, but I didn't hide it or feel ashamed. He gently placed his hand on mine, which was on the table, looked me straight in the eyes, and asked, "Who hurt you?" I have never laughed so hard in a guy's face, but he really couldn't understand that I just like writing about sex, and that no one has ever harassed me about it. There was no second date. I burst out laughing at the words, "Who hurt you?" I dated a guy who was 19 while I was 18. He seemed normal to me until one day I met him at his house before our date. His mom asked him to take out the trash, and he threw a tantrum like a 3-year-old child, crying, yelling at his mom, and banging on the floor. I pretended my parents called and left for home. I blocked his number and never saw him again. He kicked a dog. He lost all his attractiveness instantly. He started dating my best friend after I told her I liked him, and she tried to get with every guy I liked. Update. It was back in 2012. Now we have a decent relationship with her, but we rarely communicate. You should have chosen the least attractive guy and told your friend you liked him. He asked me a question about myself. Then in the middle of my answer, he interrupted me and started talking about himself. If you could choose any superpower, what would you choose? I think I would choose telekinesis because I have a friend like that, and my cousin often does the same thing. They throw it in to talk about themselves. They don't realize they can just say what they want instead of giving you the floor and then abruptly switching to themselves. I love them both, but damn, it annoys the hell out of me. 2 days after our first date, she showed up at my workplace with a tray of lasagna, ice cream I bought for my kids, and various groceries. I was a single dad back then, and I guess she thought I should take it as a caring gesture. My job was 2 hours away from her. When I said she didn't have to do that, she burst into tears. I don't like that. Are you sure she's not from an anime? I would understand if she brought just the lasagna, regardless of the effort she had to make. I would get it all if you had at least a few dates that turned into a relationship. Overall, it sounds cute, but one date? No. Before I give my final verdict, was the lasagna tasty? It's crucial for me. I don't remember not liking it. So, I guess it was okay. Wait, did you take everything she brought you? Now I don't know who's weirder between you two. I recently talked to a woman who had just divorced and moved back in with her parents. She already had a child and a few pets, but then she mentioned wanting to get another pet. Her parents adamantly said no, but she disobeyed and got one anyway. After that, her parents asked her to move out. It was a stressful situation for her, and I advised her to talk to her parents, to which she replied that she was an adult, capable of making her own decisions, and didn't care about others' rules. At that moment, I instantly lost interest in her. If I see someone blatantly disregarding their parents and their opinions, especially when they haven't caused any harm, it immediately puts me off. Sometimes things are much more complicated. I remember when my girlfriend first heard me talking on the phone with my mom and expressed her disapproval. She said I was very cold, terse, and rude. Later on, my mom started to frequently intervene and be rude to my girlfriend. And then she realized that some people can only be dealt with in a certain way. One sweet girl from the 9th grade had a party at her country house. I really liked her. She mentioned that her family breeds chinchillas, and we were all excited to see these fluffy creatures. There were about 100 of them, and the smell of ammonia was unreal. There was a platform with electrical cables there. I asked her what the platform was for, and she replied, "I'll show you. Just step back." She took a small fluffy chinchilla, attached cables to it, and pressed the switch. Without hesitation, she killed the animal. It was strange how a teenage girl could easily electrocute an animal. I no longer liked her, and after that, I even started to feel a bit scared of her. Needless to say, the party didn't go well. And why do they need this damn chinchilla killing factory? Probably for fur. Chinchilla fur coats are very expensive. My mom went to fur shops, even though she knows my stance on this issue but really wanted to buy one. And the prices for a chinchilla fur coat start at $30,000, although they are indeed very soft to the touch. Thank you so much for watching. In the comments below the video, you can write, what was it that the person you were head over heels in love with did that made you immediately lose interest in them? Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you don't miss the next videos. Goodbye.